In a quiet village surrounded by green forests and golden fields in the land of Ghana, there lived a young woman named Abena. Her beauty was known far and wide. People from neighboring villages often spoke about her glowing skin, her graceful walk, and the way her smile lit up every gathering. But although Abena was beautiful on the outside, many people believed her heart was not as beautiful. Abena was proud, very proud. Many young men came to her family compound to ask for her hand in marriage. They arrived wearing their best clothes, bringing gifts of kola nuts and speaking respectfully to her parents, as tradition required. Yet Abena turned every one of them away. Sometimes she laughed openly at them. "Is this the best you can offer?" she would say mockingly. "I will not marry a poor farmer or a fisherman." Another time she waved her hand dismissively. "I deserve more than this. I will only marry a rich and handsome prince, not a common villager." Her harsh words spread through the village. Some women secretly envied her beauty, but most of the men felt insulted by her behavior. The elders shook their heads whenever her name was mentioned. Abena's parents were deeply troubled by their daughter's attitude. One evening, as the sun dipped low behind the palm trees, her father called her to sit beside him. "My daughter," he said gently, "beauty fades, but good character lasts forever. You must treat people with respect." Her mother nodded in agreement. "You should not reject people simply because they are not rich. A hard-working man can build a good home." But Abena would not listen. "I know what I want," she replied stubbornly. "I will marry only a rich prince. I refuse to spend my life with a common man." Her parents exchanged worried looks, but there was little they could do. Abena had grown stubborn and proud. Far away, beyond what human eyes could see, the spirits of the unseen world were watching. They had listened to Abena's insults and witnessed her disrespect toward the good men of the village. The spirits were not pleased. "This girl's pride has grown too great," one spirit said. "She dishonors her parents and mocks humble men," another added. "She must learn a lesson," said the eldest spirit. So they made a decision. They would send someone to the village, someone who looked exactly like the kind of man Abena desired. One bright afternoon, a stranger arrived in the village. He was tall and handsome, dressed in fine clothes that shone in the sunlight. His voice was deep and confident, and he carried himself like a nobleman. His name was Kwame. The moment Abena saw him walking through the marketplace, her heart began to race. She had never seen a man so handsome before. "This must be the prince I have been waiting for," she whispered to herself. When Kwame approached her family compound and asked her parents for permission to marry her, Abena agreed immediately. Her parents, however, felt uneasy. "My daughter," her father said cautiously, "we do not know this man. He is a stranger to our village." Her mother added softly, "A marriage should be built on trust and knowledge. We must know where he comes from." But Abena refused to hear their concerns. "He is wealthy and handsome," she insisted. "That is enough for me." In the same village lived a quiet farmer named Kofi. Kofi had always admired Abena from a distance. He loved her deeply, but he had never dared to speak because he knew she would reject him like the others. But Kofi had something special. He possessed a rare gift: he could see spirits. When Kofi first laid eyes on Kwame, he immediately felt something strange. The man's appearance was perfect, but behind that perfection Kofi saw something dark and unnatural. Kwame was not human. He was a spirit disguised as a man. Kofi hurried to warn Abena. "Please listen to me," he said urgently. "This man is not who he claims to be. He is a spirit." But Abena burst into laughter. "You are jealous," she said sharply. "You cannot accept that a prince has chosen me." "No," Kofi pleaded. "I only want to protect you." But Abena insulted him and sent him away. With a heavy heart, Kofi realized she would not listen. Still, he could not shake the feeling that danger was coming. Soon after the wedding ceremony, Kwame told Abena's parents that it was time for them to travel to his village. Abena's father felt uneasy. "My son," he said carefully, "let one member of our family accompany you. We would like to know where our daughter will live." Kwame's face darkened instantly. "No one will follow us," he said firmly. Before her father could respond, Abena spoke quickly. "Father, please do not anger my husband. I am his wife now. He has the right to take me wherever he wishes." Her father felt a deep sadness in his heart, but he reluctantly agreed. The next morning, Kwame and Abena began their journey. They walked for many hours, leaving the village far behind. The path led them into a deep forest where the trees were tall and the sunlight barely touched the ground. Suddenly, Kwame stopped walking. Abena looked around in confusion. "Why have we stopped?" she asked. Kwame turned toward her slowly. "Because we have arrived." Abena frowned. "Arrived? But there is no village here." Before she could say anything else, Kwame's body began to change. His skin stretched and twisted. His limbs disappeared. His face transformed into something monstrous. Within moments, the handsome man was gone. In his place was a giant python, thicker than a tree trunk. Abena screamed in terror. "Please don't hurt me," she cried, trembling. The enormous python lifted its head and spoke. "I am not the prince you imagined," the serpent hissed. "I am the prince of the forest spirits. I was sent to teach you what happens to those who are proud and disrespectful." Abena collapsed to the ground in fear. "Now," the python said coldly, "I will swallow you so that in your next life you may learn humility." But just as the serpent moved forward, a voice shouted from the trees. "Stop!" It was Kofi. He had secretly followed them from the village, worried about Abena's safety. Armed with his farming spear, Kofi bravely stepped between Abena and the giant python. A fierce struggle followed. Though the serpent was powerful, Kofi fought with courage and determination. At last, the spirit serpent retreated deep into the forest, disappearing among the shadows. Abena sat shaking with fear. Kofi gently helped her to her feet. "Come," he said softly. "Let us go home." When Abena returned to the village, she was no longer the proud and arrogant girl she once was. The experience had changed her heart. She apologized to her parents and thanked Kofi for saving her life. From that day forward, Abena treated everyone with kindness and respect. Over time, she came to see that Kofi, the humble farmer she once mocked, was the bravest and kindest man she had ever known. Eventually, Abena and Kofi were married. And this time, the marriage was built not on pride or appearances, but on respect, humility, and love. They lived happily together for many years, and Abena never forgot the lessons she had learned in the forest. Moral: pride and disrespect can lead to great danger, but humility and wisdom bring true happiness.